Hello, boys and girls. Today you're going to be taking notes on the types of triangles. What you should have in front of you is a piece of construction paper that's folded into a flip book that has 6 flaps. The first thing we're going to discuss is ways to name triangles by angles. There are 3 flaps for naming triangles by angles. On the first flap, please label it right triangle. A right triangle has one 90-degree or right angle. In my picture, you see the right angle, angle X. Since a triangle can only have 3 angles that add up to 180 degrees, the other 2 angles in a right triangle are always acute angles. Make sure your flip book is labeled right triangle, has the definition for the triangle, and draw an example as best as you can. The next flap is going to be for an acute triangle. An acute triangle has 3 acute angles, meaning all of the angles are less than 90 degrees. If you look at this example triangle, you can see that all 3 angles are less than 90 degrees, making this an acute triangle. An obtuse triangle is a triangle that has 1 obtuse angle. Label that on your 3rd flap. In my picture here, you see the obtuse triangle showing angle Y as an obtuse angle. Being that the angles of a triangle, again, only add up to 180 degrees, the other 2 angles in an obtuse triangle are acute angles. At this point, you should have all 3 triangle names for angles complete. You should have a right triangle, an acute triangle, and an obtuse triangle. If you need to go back and fill any information in, do that now before you move on. The other way to name triangles is by their sides. The other 3 flaps are going to be used for naming triangles by their sides. The first way that you can name a triangle by its sides is an equilateral triangle. Do you see that equal, even though it's spelled a little differently, makes up the beginning of the word equilateral? An equilateral triangle is a triangle that has all 3 sides of equal measure, meaning they're all the same length. In my triangle here, sides A, B, and C would all be the same. Since all 3 sides are the same in an equilateral triangle, all 3 angles are the same as well. In your flip book, make sure to copy the definition and do your best to draw that example. An isosceles triangle has 2 equal sides. That means that 2 of the angles are also equal. Take a look at this sample picture. Side A and C are the same length. Because of the way the isosceles triangle is constructed, since those 2 sides are the same, the angles opposite those are also the same length, or the same measure. In your flip book, write down the definition for an isosceles triangle and do your best to draw the example. Now here's your hint. I always remember that an isosceles triangle has 2 sides that are the same because of the 2 S's, I-S-O-S, and 2 S's right next to each other by that O for the 2 sides that are the same. The 3rd way to name a triangle by its sides is to call it a scalene triangle. A scalene triangle has no equal sides, which means it has no equal angles either. If you take a look at this example triangle, you can see all 3 angles are different measures. and all three sides are different lengths. You should now have all of the ways to name a triangle by their sides complete. You should have that written in your flipbook. If you need to go back and fill anything in, do so now. When you come to your small group check today, please bring your flipbook with you, as you can use it as we begin to solidify how we name triangles.